Welcome to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi, where nurses take control, break barriers, and build a future of financial freedom and career success. Whether you're burned out, ready to level up, or looking for the blueprint to thrive, you're in the right place. It's time to lead, grow, and win because your future starts now. Here's your host, Dr. Chichi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi, the show where nurses and healthcare professionals reclaim their peace, power, and financial future. Whether you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or ready to take bold steps forward, this is for you, the right space for you. Let's grow, lead, and thrive together. Like, share, and subscribe to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi so you will be notified when future episodes are released. The theme for today's episode will be The Balancing Act, a pediatrician's story of burnout, motherhood, and purpose. As I was reviewing an article with the burnout statistics from CDC website, it presented that 46%, which is nearly half of healthcare workers, reported often feeling burnt out in 2022, which is up from 32% in 2018. In 2025 also, I was reviewing another article which said that in 2025, while physicians' burnout rates have decreased from during the pandemic, they're still high, significantly high, and of concern. And the study from Stanford Medicine presented that physicians were 82.3% more likely to experience burnout than workers in other professions, even after adjusting for factors like age and work hours. The American Medical Association reported that 43.2% of physicians reported experiencing burnout in 2024, which is a decrease from pandemic highs. However, 43.2% is still high. So no one is immune to burnout. So the reason for this show is to have a platform where healthcare professionals can share their burnout stories and how they took charge of their lives. The guest today is Dr. Kalu, Dr. Chioma Kalu, with over 25 years of experience in the medical field. She's been a pediatrician for over 20 years, and she has experienced episodes of burnout. She is the founder and medical director of Bendito Pediatric Incorporated, where she's known for her compassionate pediatric care. Dr. Kalu combines clinical excellence with deep passion for empowering families and advocating for children's health. Having personally experienced multiple episodes of burnout while balancing medicine, motherhood, and entrepreneurship, Dr. Kalu will speak openly about her journey towards healing and resilience. I know her story will inspire other healthcare professionals to prioritize their well-being, embrace faith, and find purpose beyond pressure. The goal for this episode will be to explore Dr. Chioma Kalu's personal journey navigating burnout as a pediatrician, motherhood, a mother of four, and a wife. So she's going to share insights into balancing motherhood, entrepreneurship, and professional calling, and then provide practical wisdom and encouragement for healthcare professionals experiencing burnout, and then also highlight faith, resilience, and redefining success in medicine and life. Dr. Kalu, welcome to the show. Great to have you here to share your story. I know it will touch people's life. Welcome, Dr. Kalu.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Dr. Chichi. I am so honored to be here on your show, Take Charge with Dr. Chichi. And it is exciting. Thank you very much for having me. I am very excited for what we might be discussing today.
Yeah. So nice to have you here. I know when I told you to please come to the show, you'd be like, yeah, I'm coming. So I'm kind of excited and charged up that you're here.
Yes,
Thank you so
yeah.
much for coming.
Oh,
Can you
thank you for
share your
having me.
journey into pediatrics and what inspired you to start Bendito Pediatrics Incorporated?
Well, obviously, I'm an immigrant, and so coming to the United States, the desire to continue with medicine made sense to go into
Mm,
pediatrics. There isn't that much talk about it. It's just that I felt that that was the area where I thought that my talents would be beneficial to the community that I take care of.
wow.
And then I was, of course, working in different areas until I decided to branch out to find Bendito Pediatrics. The reason that happened was born solely because I had situations where I had my children were in school. My husband was a businessman I mean, he's an attorney, but he's attorney slash business who was not working full time in the United States, and he had to travel to do his work. And some of those times when he wasn't here, I would have to be torn between balancing work
Mm,
as an employee and being able to take care of my children. And some of those times it was really difficult because if the child was sick, I can take out time from work, but because I don't have just one child, if one is sick today, then the next one is sick the next day. It became a little bit of a challenge at my workplace
mm,
because it's created the impression of, are you the only one that's a mother? How come you're always having issues with your children? And so I started to think to myself, maybe it might be good to just branch out and be on my own. But I think one of the things that made that decision for me was when my children come home and they are proud of the sports that they did, some of the awards that they got, and they will say, Mom, but you weren't there,
mm.
and I thought, okay, I don't think that it would be in the best interest of me as a mother and the children to miss all these very important times in their lives. And that was what made me go out and start my own business. And I called it Bendito Pediatrics.
I read the Bible and I always apply, I always think about the Bible when, when anything is happening around me. While you were just speaking, what came to my
Mhm.
head is everything works together for your own good.
For good,
Because
absolutely.
I know.
Yeah.
So your children, your kids having problem, like not really having problem, but being sick and all that turned out to be something positive. This
That is
practice that
true.
you're now using to touch a lot of people's life.
Correct.
Good.
And you're right, because of course, it was not as if I was not able to touch lives where I was working before, but this time it kind of feels a little more personal, because these patients are here because of you,
I
not
know.
necessarily because of the company, but because of you. So the dedication, the accountability becomes something that is really different. And yes, I agree with you that
Mhm.
it now created something even much better as a result of something that was thought to be
Mhm.
wrong.
Actually, one of the people in the show, I think the show is gonna be released sometime this week. She was telling me about how she had like a family emergency and she needed to take time off, but she couldn't take time off from work. That's
Yeah.
when she's like, no, I'm not doing this. And then she
And
opened up her own practice. So
oh,
I mean, all
wow.
those things
Yes.
do work out for our
Yes.
own good too. I
Correct.
mean, that's the point I'm trying to make. And
Yeah, agreed.
it's amazing. And I know you've been doing this, you've had this practice for a while, and a lot of lives have been touched. So I just want
Amen.
to find out at what point did you realize you were experiencing burnout and what were some of the warning signs that you had?
Okay, I'm not sure if it's because I'm a woman. But because we tend to be caregivers and you keep giving and giving, but you don't realize how much is taken out from you. I want to say that I did not even realize
Hmm.
that I was burnt out until I started to make mistakes at work.
Wow.
And the mistakes I made were because I was no longer patient to read through the documentation. I just kind of felt, okay, this condition, I think I already know what it is. but I didn't take my time. For example, I had a patient who came in and the mother was complaining that her baby was vomiting. But I think at that point, the chief complaint was vomiting. My mind had gone into all of the patients we had seen that day who were vomiting that were mostly viral. And so my thought went to the child must be sick. And I literally missed a bleed in the child's brain
Mm.
because I was busy focusing on it's vomiting and it's almost time for me to leave. I'm exhausted and, there wasn't anything else that the mother could present to me that would cause me to think a bleed in the head. And so I think I was done with the patient, but for some reason, I just wasn't comfortable. I'm
Mm.
not sure what happened. I think that what had drawn my attention was when you put the baby down on the bed, she would always act like she is
Mm.
shocked or something. And so I asked her, and I was reluctant, I have to admit, as
Mm.
shameful as it is. But I was reluctant to ask that question because I thought to myself, if you ask this question, you might not leave this room. You
Mm.
might stay another 30. And I really was tired. But then I thought I would just ask. She's going to say no. So I asked her, were you the only one taking care of the child at the time the child started vomiting? And that's when she told me, actually, she was not the one taking care of the baby, but it was the father.
Mm.
And then the father was in the room at the time. So the father told me the baby had been crying nonstop. So he picked her up and shook her. And it wasn't the shaking
Oh,
as in abuse, but he was trying to shake her to tell her, stop crying. And that was it.
wow. And
So
it
it
and
was a shaking baby
it takes
scene.
a well-experienced person too to pay attention to what you just talked about. I
I
know you
wish I
were,
could say, yeah, I wish I could say it was an experience. I think God just wanted to save
oh
me that
man.
day.
I like
Yes.
that. I like that.
Yeah,
Because God looks
because I
out
don't
for
think
us
it,
too.
because I wanted to leave. And I was telling her, your child is vomiting. The vomiting is not even that much.
Mm.
You don't need to just go. And the worst thing, it was a Friday as well.
Oh,
So I just told her, just go home. If it gets worse, let me know. I don't think it's anything but the cold. And so I think I'm grateful to God. And when they said that, I thought to myself, you know what? Just send them to the ER. Worst case, they'll tell them it's acute gastroenteritis.
wow.
And then I got a call. Yeah. So that
Wow.
was when of course, the fear of what could have been, and then the realization that what was it that
Mm.
really made you feel you wanted to go home that day? And I had to tell myself the truth. I was burnt out. I was doing so much without
Wow.
having enough time to put back what I
Wow.
was taking out of myself. And so it kind of created that irritation. Why are you still here? I already told you
Mm.
what's wrong with your child. There's nothing else I can do. Those thoughts. But God,
Wow.
God was really merciful to me that day.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's I mean, this is going to touch a lot of people's life.
Yeah.
So what were some of the symptoms or signs that you now know were related to the burnout? When we're going through it, we're like, no, we're fine because we're super mom and we
Correct.
we don't really know when we're going through it. So what actually
Absolutely.
were the signs and symptoms that you now know were related to the burnout? I mean, you just gave us a story of
Yeah, that's
burnout.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is being upset when a patient is trying to explain or tell you their problems. I find that I get irritated. That's you came for a rash. Why can't we just stick to that?
Mm.
And, in medicine, we know that sometimes some patients come in because they think that that is what will bring them in. But that's not really the issue.
Mm.
And so when we sit and we listen, we tend to find out exactly what it was. So I tend to feel that I'm impatient with those parents, and I find that I'm not listening anymore.
Wow.
And
Wow.
then I also find that I forget to
Mm.
send prescriptions. So I'm already done with the visit. I've already told the parent, this is what it is. This is the diagnosis. I'm going to send the medication to the pharmacy, and I never do.
Mm.
I'm forgetful. I am, and then some of the times too, I have the patient in the room intending that when I'm done with them, I will do a procedure, and I walk out of the room and I don't remember the procedure. So all those things, and of course, being tired, and tired is not energy. Like I have the
It's not
energy,
nature,
but
it's like,
mentally, like I have something to read and I cannot read it through. I want to jump through it. I
yes.
have to really call my attention to it and say, slow down, read this history, probably an ER summary note or a discharge from the hospital, or even going through the patient's medication in order to reconcile it. I just breeze through it. And so those are, trying to rush and finish up, I think were the signs that I was having a lot more as far as work was concerned. Then at home, I find that I'm not interested in doing anything that my children want me to do. Sometimes they say, "Oh, mom, can we watch this movie together? I want you to watch this movie with me." I'm like, no, hell no, I do not want to watch anything with you. And some of the times they accuse me of having gone for so long, always promising that I would, I would, I would. When is this would ever going to be an actuality?
Wow.
And I say, well, mommy is really tired today. And then sometimes they go, mommy, I think you should stop working because your work is making you tired all the time. So that is another one that brings it home, that you cannot even spend that quality time with the children. And then, of course, initially I had mentioned to you how, as a woman, you don't really know how much you're doing and taking out of yourself and not putting back. And then the next thing, the children are growing up. And now you're thinking, oh my goodness, those things I could have done with them before, I've missed all those times. And so that comes as a reality check, like time is passing and you're never ever going to not be that busy because financially, as you all know, if you don't work, no money, right? So you want to keep working because the more you work, the money comes, and then you're able to expand, train your staff, bring in new things, new ideas, implement them in your office. So you need the finances in order to do that. So that seems like it's an endless thing. And so it just justifies the fact that you have to be busy all the
You have
time,
to be
and then you
busy.
miss important things in life. Yes.
Wow, wow, wow. So, I wanted to ask you, how did burnout affect your personal life, your business, sense of purpose, family life, work, or faith? But you already explained everything.
Yeah.
And now
It
you go,
affected.
unless you want
Mhm.
to highlight a little bit more on that.
Yeah, I mean, of course, a little bit more on that is not just family as my children or my husband, but family as relationship with friends. There are people that I call my big sisters who are not necessarily from my mother, but there are people who ask after me, like people who call me and then I don't call them anymore. I don't have the time to call them, which I have to be honest, is not cool because no man can live by themselves.
Yes.
And there are certain things we all think we're going through just by ourselves. We think that the situation is unique to us. But when you call one or two people, you find that you're not alone. That gives strength,
Yes.
that is able to tell you if that person made it through. Hey, sign me up. What did you do? Help me
Yes.
out so that I can do what you did, or do something similar so that I can get out of this. So
Yes.
that was what it did to me. The burnout caused me to cut off. And the relationship I had with friends, family, it was staggered. It wasn't like it was before. And of course, it's a vicious cycle. I didn't have that support. So I kept going down further into that what will I call it, the burnt out
Johnny,
journey.
what
Absolutely.
about your faith?
So it affected, okay, I was going to add that too. It did because, I mean, growing up, wanting to be in church every time, I actually thought that the burnout would really, really, really arrest me if I do not do anything about my faith. And so I did continue to go to church, but what it did in extra was I started to have purposefully make out time to
That's
just
That's right.
Listen to the word of God.
Yes.
Just play it.
Just to
Sometimes I
empower
think to
yourself,
myself,
at least.
exactly. I tell myself, but you won't have time to just sit down and imbibe it, but I'll put it on. And I'll find whatever time, whatever reason to have it playing on my phone so I can listen and
Mhm.
listen. That was the greatest thing that I think I've ever done.
Mhm.
That has been the reason why that burnout had a stop.
Yes.
And then I had to come back and take charge of my life
Woo.
because of God's word. Yeah,
Yes.
hearing it and hearing
Mm.
it. Yes, I was able to, he pulled me out.
Yeah.
And, thankfully, I'm now able to see better and I'm hoping to get better every day.
And you're talking about it now, creating
Yeah.
awareness and helping other people. When we were having a discussion, you pointed out about financial obligations and professional pressure, how it made it difficult for you to just step out,
Step back.
and then
Correct.
step out from that burnout and take charge or
Yeah.
change the course. And
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
of the time, for us in the healthcare field, or even other professions, I think, most of the
Correct.
time,
Yeah.
why people just still stay in that environment or stay in that I'd say in that environment that burns them out is just because of financial obligations. I
Your
mean, if you
needs.
stop working,
Yes.
how are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to feed the
How are
kids?
you gonna, exactly.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that, like I said, that's why I actually went back to get my take my exams and have the knowledge, start seeking financial literacy because
Okay.
sometimes even when we know it, because we don't have time, we don't do what we're supposed to do. So I'm work in progress too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning every
Mm-hmm.
day and I'm helping other
Yeah.
people to take charge of their lives.
Yes. Yes.
So
Thank
what,
you.
okay, so what steps,
Because I'm
so what
because I'm
step
gonna benefit from that was what I wanted to say.
Yes, yeah, yeah. We're gonna talk
Yes.
about it. We're gonna talk about it. So, what step did you take to begin your recovery and protect your mental health?
So the first step I took was to make sure that I made time to
Hmm.
pray.
Oh,
I needed to wake up every morning or not even wake up any morning. It might be before I go to bed, but anytime within a 24-hour period, I have to curve out some time to pray. And of course, the morning one works much better for
mhm.
me than any other time. And then the next thing I did was I stopped listening to music
Mm.
all the time. Like I listen to music all the time and I sing as well, but I stopped
I know
making
you're a good
listening to
singer,
music.
though.
Thank you. I stopped making music the entire thing that I listened to. So I would listen to the word.
Mm.
I'll listen to somebody preach the word rather than the music. And so that way I can listen and hear because with music, there's something about, you're singing it, you know the tune, but you forget to listen to the lyrics. And
Yes.
so I thought with the word, and that was actually the gate that
Mm.
opened for me with that. So that was one of the things I would tell you was, or maybe the main thing that I think that helped me through.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
how do you manage being a wife, mother of four, and a business owner? In other words, or even being a wife, right? In
Mhm.
other words, how did your role as a wife and mother influence the way you responded to the burnout?
Hmm. I kind of felt that I was no longer any of those.
Mm.
I just felt I was just another tenant living in the house. A house with a man and his four children. I come home, I fend for myself because I cannot even do anything for anybody.
Mm.
Um, and I kind of started to think to myself, at the end of the day, when God asks you, these gifts that I gave to you, what did you do with them?
Mhm.
What will I say? That I was chasing after money
Mm.
and ignored them. And then I think that the most one for me was, because I'm pediatric, so we see adolescents and you hear
Mhm.
all the things about social media, and then you see your children start to behave a certain way where they think that they are not good enough anymore.
Mm.
Maybe because of something they read on the social media or whatever. And thinking to myself, you cannot be here going to work every day, educating the young people on how to be strong in their minds.
Mhm.
And yet your children are falling apart at home.
Wow.
And so for me, I felt that no, I needed to balance it and come home. I felt don't be the mother that is home, but yet not at home. So
Yes.
you need to be present. And so,
Wow.
yeah, it affected me in that way. And my children, like, thankfully,
Hmm.
it's much better now. But then
Wow.
my daughter, she would um she would sit down and, act like she's dreaming. And then the next thing she's crying. And I ask her,
Mm.
what's wrong with you? And she goes, Mom, I can't tell you, but I know that I am depressed and I need a
Mm.
psychologist. And I say, what do you mean? And I don't even think that there is any reason why anybody should be depressed at all in this house. But then she says that. And then she's always on her, if it's not Instagram, it's some social media site.
Mm.
And only for me to find out that a lot of the times she was also being attacked by her roommates, and
Mm.
they put it out there in the Instagram. And then there was a point where they all shut her out.
What?
And so she's feeling, what did I do? And all of that was piling on her. And she would try to talk to me about it,
And you
but
were
I was
busy.
always tired or
Mm.
I was busy. And then one of those times when she would say, Mommy, can't you just stop working and hang with us? She tells me later that that was her own way of trying to see if I could just leave work and come so she can tell me about her feelings and all
Mm.
that. And so, yeah, that was a red flag that I'm very glad that I saw.
Wow.
And I thought, okay, I cannot do it on my own. I need to have God to help me to order my steps and to give me the wisdom to even know how to address that. Because when your child is telling you that they feel that way, what do you say to them, you
Mm.
know? And so that was what I did. And then we all started going to church, and I tried to get them to be involved in church, not necessarily because I feel that they have to work in church in order to get better, but because I believed from the word that I've been listening that when you start to try to help somebody in their area of their issue,
You get healed.
yours, yeah,
Yes.
you start
Yes.
to get your own responses as well. So I wanted to teach them not to focus on themselves.
But
Go out there.
outward.
You are blessed. Yeah.
Yes.
You are blessed. Go out there and be a blessing to somebody who is less privileged or
Yes.
you think is less blessed than you are. That would take your mind off of yourself.
You
And
know,
so,
I found that out, several years ago, and I was actually talking to one lady, and I just told her, don't just stay home and feel bad about yourself. I said,
yeah.
go out there and help other people, volunteer.
Mhm.
In the process
Right.
of doing that, you get healed from whatever you're
Hmm.
going through. And she said, oh, I never
Yeah.
thought about it that way. I said, yes, go
Yeah.
out and help other
Yeah.
people.
Hmm.
Well, the point you just made now kind of reminded me about the discussion I had with the lady. So,
Hmm.
what advice will you give to other female healthcare professionals juggling similar roles?
I would say get help. Help in the sense that if you are an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
please do not do everything yourself.
Mm.
Your dream is too big for just one person. So if you are the CEO, the secretary, the sweeper,
The
the
biller?
cleaner, the biller, yeah, that is a setup for a burnout that will happen quicker than you can even say amen.
I
And
know.
so I would say just find help. Whoever it is that you can get that is willing, they don't have to be a specialist in that area, but they're willing to learn. Just teach them, and as they learn, they build on that, and you get somebody to help you.
Wow.
That's what I would say. Yes.
Good. Well, we were having this discussion. You already pointed out how your faith and support system sustained you during the most difficult moments,
Yes.
of your burnout. Do you have a
Yeah.
little bit more to share on that?
I just it would still go back to God,
God.
right? So I went further. It was no longer just hearing God's word, but I decided not to be just a member in
Mm-hmm.
my church, but I would go out and either join the life group or
Mm.
join a department because I thought I'm preaching to these children. to go and take care of somebody's needs to help them out. And I thought, God, I need a balance. But I think that if I worked in your house or volunteered in your house, you would be able to give me, even if it's not wisdom, but somebody that I can, what do they call it again?
Like help, touch.
Hit, yeah, or bounce ideas off of.
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
I'm looking for.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. And
Mm.
so I joined the life group in church. And honestly, it just makes you feel you're doing too
Empowered.
much. Yes. Yeah. It gives you an insight of how somebody else did it when they were in your shoes. And now you think, oh, you know what? It's not anything special about me.
Mm-hmm.
This is just something everybody else is going through. And so that has helped me spiritually and otherwise.
Wow. So
Yeah.
in other words, um, just going to God or going to God's house to help, to be involved, help you with your burnout. That's the summary of what I hear you say.
That is the summary. Yes,
So,
absolutely.
okay, so maybe I'll rephrase this. What spiritual or mindset shift help you to bounce back stronger?
I was going to say, do you want me to say it in a different way?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what it did for me was it helped me to realize that I am a precious gift. Being in church taught me that I mean something. And so I don't have to be everything to everybody. I just need to just do the part that I can and let God be whatever it is left. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was what it taught me, that I'm doing it by my strength, by my might.
Yes.
But I do not need to work and expend the energy. I just need to work smart.
Right. Yeah.
So that was what I learned from that.
When you're going to work, sometimes they tell you don't work hard, work smart.
Work smart,
That's what
yes.
you just said. So
Yes.
what boundaries or routines have you put in place to prevent burnout now?
So I try not to stay in my office for too long.
Wow.
We go in the morning. Once my staff say they're leaving, I start to round off.
Wow.
Even if I'm not done, I tell myself, you'll be done. Most of the things that I'm running late on would be completing my notes. I'm so rigid. I do not like to leave without having all my notes done.
Done.
And so
Yeah.
sometimes I'm
You
on
don't
the
want to take
phone.
it home too.
And so I was, right? So now I
Mm.
don't want to take it home anymore. And so what I do is while I'm at work, I try not to get distracted so much. Of course, I have family calling and people, I try not to stay so long on the phone. That way I can get back to my notes and be sure that I'm done or at least almost done by the time my staff tell me they're leaving. So that if I don't finish it that day, whatever I will have left to do, I can do the next morning and still be able to catch up with that day's work. And then of course I refuse to take work home. I
Mm.
say to myself, I will not take work. I'm still getting there, but the good news is I don't take as much work that I used to take home in
Mhm.
the past. I do not take that home no more. Yeah.
So what does taking charge mean to you as a physician, entrepreneur, and a woman of faith? What does taking charge mean to you?
Hmm. I think that taking charge for me means that I have to own up to my weakness,
Mm-hmm.
own up to the fact that I cannot do it all, pick the areas that I know that I can do,
Mm-hmm.
pray for the wisdom to find help for the other parts that I cannot do,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that I have time every day for myself.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well care,
Hmm.
self-care,
Self-care.
all of the
Yes.
above.
Uh,
So what
yes.
message would you like to share with a healthcare professional watching who may feel overwhelmed but are called to more? Just a little
I
advice.
want you to know that it's okay to take a day off. even though you don't see how you can. And you know why? Because when you take a day off, you rest your body and your brain.
Mm.
And when you come back to work after that rest, it's like you are like super duper, like your brain works 10 times
Refreshed.
faster.
Yeah.
Yes. And all that work that you thought you could have done if you were at work that day that you had taken off, you find that you still catch up on those work. There was something one of my when I used to work for another doctor, there was something that man told me. He said to me, Dr. Kalu, don't give your time all the time for the patients.
Mm.
Take some time for
Yes.
yourself.
Well, yeah.
Because if anything happens to you today,
Patients will
those
not have
patients
you.
will be sad, but they'll be sad for just one day, and
Wow.
they'll find another doctor in a hurry.
Mm.
So I thought, so that has also been something that I always try to remind myself. Yes, you're doing a great thing by wanting to be there for your patients,
Mm.
but don't stretch it so much that you have given so much of yourself. Remember, that patient is important to you as long as you are able to help that patient.
Wow.
Once you're not able to help the patient can find for themselves another help. In other words, we're not indispensable.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's deep. That is
Yes,
deep.
that has helped me.
All
Yes.
right. Time for
Yeah.
rapid fire questions. So can you give me
Okay.
just one word, one word to describe your morning routine? I think you mentioned, but
Um,
just say it again.
it's mundane, right? It's just the same thing. Wake up, take a shower, get ready, and get off to work. So, mundane.
Okay.
Monotony.
Okay, so one word.
Yeah, monotony.
Monotony. Okay, good.
Or monotonous. Yeah.
Whatever. We know what it is,
Mhm.
right? So what's
Yes.
your favorite way to relax after a long shift?
Sleep.
Ooh,
I love to sleep.
I wish I can sleep
Oh my gosh, I love to sleep. And not on my bed,
on the couch, right?
uh, on the couch. But of course, not
Amen.
on the couch where they have to stay and watch TV. On a separate couch that is all by itself in a corner, I just lay down there and I am fine.
You know, when
Yes.
you sleep off like that, it's kind of refreshing. It might
Oh
be
my
2 hours,
goodness.
but it might be 3 hours, but the most refreshing sleep
That is the
that you can ever
sweetest
get
sleep.
in this world.
Yes,
All right.
correct.
So
Yeah.
coffee, tea, or green smoothie?
Coffee.
Ooh, you like coffee?
I like coffee. I'm not sure if it's because it's become a habit, because I know that sometimes if I don't drink it, I'm okay.
Wow.
But I just
Oh,
like that
it's just
heat.
all here.
I think that's what it is. I just like that heat. Even sometimes I would, like when I come home and I want to just relax, I drink hot coffee and then I go to sleep.
What?
Yes,
Some people drink coffee to be up and you drink coffee to go sleep?
I know.
Okay.
Yes.
All
I
right.
sleep that much. So coffee doesn't.
Coffee can.
I need something stronger not to
I
sleep.
know.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So just a scripture or quote that keeps you going on tough days.
I can do all things through Christ who
Ooh,
strengthens me.
Philippians.
Philippians 4:19.
Oh my goodness. So one
Yeah.
thing you do just for yourself every week.
Uh, okay. I every week.
I think
I
you
think
already
it's
said
just
it.
I just sleep. I just come home. I go to that corner place. Once my kids see me
Oh,
there, they know.
that's
Okay.
where my head was going. You already said it. That corner where you
Yeah.
go to sleep.
That yes. Yes. I just go there and my children know.
Mhm.
Oh, she's in her corner.
Mhm. That's
Yes.
good. All right. Finish this sentence. Burnout taught me to.
Place my God first,
Hmm.
family second,
Mhm.
and then my work third.
Wow. Dr. Carlos, someone watching today somewhere in California might have a little child and they're looking for a pediatrician for this their child. So how can you be
Mhm.
reached? Because you're a pediatrician.
Yes. Oh, sure. It would be my pleasure to see them as well.
Hmm.
And so my office is in Canoga Park,
Hmm.
And the phone number is 818-857-5991. And of course, if you call, we can give you the address, but I'll tell you, it's on 22030 Sherman Way. And the suite number is 210 in Canoga Park, California, 91303.
That's amazing.
Yes.
You have another
And
practice in
it's
California,
Bendito
right?
Pediatrics.
Yeah.
Yes, I actually do. I was going to tell you that part of the burnout too was, spreading. And so I do have another office. It's called Bendito Medical Corporation. And so, of course, by the name, this one we see 0 to 99. So I am
Wow.
there as the pediatrician, but I also have a family practitioner who sees the adults for me. And this office is located in the San Bernardino County of California. It's one of the poorest counties, I think, in the whole entire nation, if it's even, but at least for California, it's the poorest county in California. And so the office is located in 1780 East Highland Avenue in San Bernardino City. And the zip code is California 92404. Our phone number is 909-402-4601.
Wow. And then do you do telehealth? Like, do you see patients through telehealth?
Yes.
Patients
Yes, I
outside
do.
of California?
So I really don't as a routine, but I always feel if you reached out to me, I would want to help you for that one time, but it's always nice to have somebody who continues to see you. So yes, I would be able to see somebody who is outside the state, but to have that as a continued thing, I would encourage them to find a pediatrician or a provider that is in their area where they live. But yes, I'm able to do telehealth.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for
Thank
having me,
you.
Dr. Chichi. It's such
Yes,
an
yes.
honor. When you told me that you wanted me to come and, have this with you, and I would ask myself, what do I have to offer? I would
You
like
have
to
a
hear
lot to
from
offer.
you.
You have a
I
lot
need the
to offer.
help.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why did she choose me? It's such an honor that you will want to hear my
Yeah.
story and that you will want your audience to hear my story. I think that there
I'm
isn't any
telling you.
honor that is much more than that. Thank you so
It's
much,
all
Dr.
about creating awareness. A lot of people go through this. People that can relate to your story, I mean, it's going to change their lives. So at this point,
Amen.
I'm going to do like a reflection prompt that I usually do for my listeners. And I want you guys to take a moment to reflect. So are you sacrificing your peace and purpose for productivity? What boundaries can you set this week to protect your mental, emotional, and spiritual health? And what part of Dr. Kalu's story resonate with you most? And how can you begin taking charge of your own career, health, and mindset today? Just write it down, commit to it, and take charge. If something happens today, is another question I want to ask, and you're not able to walk, how long can you sustain yourself? Email me at takechargewithdrchichi@gmail.com. Take charge with drchichi@gmail.com. Let's talk about it. Okay? So thank you so much, Dr. Kalu, for joining us today
Thank
and for
you.
sharing your inspiring journey. Your
Thank
resilience,
you.
honesty, and leadership will surely empower many health professionals who are
Absolutely.
navigating burnout and searching for direction. So,
Amen.
I'm telling everyone now, if Dr. Kalu's story resonates with you, share this episode with a friend or a colleague.
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us. Okay? Email at takechargewithdrchichi@gmail.com. And then I just want you to remember, burnout is not your identity.
Amen.
You're not alone. You were created for more peace, more purpose, more power.
Yeah.
You have the power to rewrite your story. Don't settle. Take charge because your future starts now. Your well-being matters. Your purpose is too valuable to burn out. Until next time, take charge, everyone. Bye.
Take Charge with Dr. Chichi is a brand of Sparkling Star Development Strategies LLC. The information provided is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or medical advice. Financial services are offered independently by Dr. Chichi in accordance with applicable licensing and regulatory standards. Thank you for watching.